So we'll see this front-end machine coding round. So you need to implement a progress bar, and so after 50%, the percentage should turn to white. Okay, and when it's done, it has to display complete. So when you think of a solution, right, when you see this kind of problems, how you can think of a solution? So this can be a heading tag or a span tag. Okay, so you can have a span for that. Okay, and you can give the style and make it come in the center. So that's not an issue. Using a span tag, it can come here. And this progress bar, right? This is what is important, right? How to display this. Okay, so for this, you can have a component. Okay, so in the main component, right, you'll have a span for this. Let's call this component as progress bar. Okay, and then this can be, this is right. Initially it was loading, after it's finished it was complete. So when this is complete, right, probably you can set a state variable, and based on the state variable you can display whether or loading or complete. So based on the state variable, you can do that. So this is what should come into your mind first, right? So we will figure out how to display this later. Now, so it automatically this percentage increases, right? Obviously, if the percentage increases automatically, this has to be set in a timer, right? So in this component, right, you can have a set interval which will be called for every 20 milliseconds or 30 milliseconds, something like that, right? Called set interval. You know set interval, right? So it will basically accept one function, and other next argument is time. So if you do this for every 20 milliseconds, this function will be called. So in this function, increment this percentage. Now that can be a state variable, right? So this value can be increased in this through this set interval. We will see how to do that, right? Where you have to call the set interval. Right? This has to be done only once. So probably you can do it in the use effect. Okay, and this value, right? This is the state variable, right? This you can pass it as a props here. Fine. And once this progress bar is only displaying this, and once the progress bar this value becomes 100, right, you can pass another function. That function can set the state variable, another boolean state variable to complete. Based on the state variable you can display complete here. So this is one way you can think how to display it. Okay, so let's look at the code. The code is similar as I told, right? So you have a span tag for that. Okay, you need to have a class name, right? You should planning to put all these things in a flex box so that you can display next. So for that you have a class name. So this is the component I told you, right? This progress bar component. You pass this value, and in the use effect you set the interval, right, for 20 milliseconds. So every 20 milliseconds, what you are doing? Set value. When you call set value, if you pass an argument, right, the previous value will get come here. The previous state, the set value is used to set this state variable, correct? When you call as like this, the previous value will come here and you are incrementing by 0.1. So every 20 milliseconds, this state variable is incremented by 0.1. And this variable is what is passed to the progress bar component. And based on this value, you are going to display the progress bar. You will see how to display the progress bar. Okay. And once the progress bar is completed, it will call this function. In this function, what you are doing? You are setting another state variable to true. Once this is true, you will display complete. Otherwise, you will display loading. Simple. Okay. So we will go find out what is happening in the progress bar. Okay, in the progress bar, what are the things are there? Okay, I have to display the percentage, right? You remember in the progress bar, percentage is displayed. This percentage is displayed. So this comes in a span tag. Okay, here I told you, right? If the percentage is greater than 49, it has to be white. So I'm in the CSS itself. I'm having based on color is based on this variable, based on this condition, the color will be white or black. Because if you refresh this, right, initially it will be black. See, initially it is black. After 49, it becomes white. So you can based on the percentage, right? Percentage coming where percentage is a state variable here. What you are doing at basically the percentage, yeah, basically the percentage, right? It should not be less than your minimum value, right? So you are taking max of your percentage or min value. Okay, so this value, it should not be less than your min value. Okay, so at least min value you are taking. If it is less than if your value is less than your min value, you are taking min value, and it should not be greater than the max value. And out of this and the max, you are taking the min value. So always this value you are setting, right? It will be greater than the min and less than the max. Okay, so that is what the setting percentage. If it is greater than the max, what that means? If it is greater than what is max and min? Max and min are constants. Max is 100, min is 0. It is there in the constant.js file. Max is min is the thing you are exported here, and you are using it here. Okay, if it is greater, you are calling the onComplete function. OnComplete where it came? It is a when you invoke this component, right? This is the props. Okay, that's it. So to display the percentage, you are using two fixed. What is two fixed will do? It will remove the decimal part. Okay. Okay. Now coming here. Now this is what is used to display your bar. Okay. So in a div, right? These are already available. Area, value, min you can give. Minimum is what? 0. Maximum is what? 100. What is the value now? You can give your percent. And based on the percent, right? Based on this value, right? It will get transformed. You roll your tool, it is progress bar. Okay. And this transform, right? Transform origin is left. So that's why from the left it is growing. And transform, how much it has to display? It has to display based on the percentage, right? What is the percent value coming? What is the percent value coming? How it is calculated? It is nothing but the value which is coming. The percentage value is nothing but the value it is coming, right? It will be what? 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, it will be keep on incrementing. Okay. So that percentage divided by 100 you are putting. Okay, because in the scale, right, you have to give in the scale of 0 to 1. If it is 40 na, divided by 100, what will be? 0.4. It will display 0.4. Okay. So for the scale function, you have to give in the range of 0 to 1. So based on the scale, it will transform. Okay. And for this progress, right, you have styles also. If you go to styles or CSS, right, the progress and span, right, you have some background color, position, obsolete to display, put it in the thing. You also have Z index. For what, which you need a Z index? Because that percentage has to display above the progress bar. It should not display below the progress bar. Z index will enable you, will determine whether that particular element should be displayed above or below. If the Z index value is higher, it will be displayed above. Okay. There is no Z index value here. Okay. By default, there should be some Z index value. Okay. So this is what is that. Okay. Now, if you see here, right, I will put a this app bar component you are setting an interval. If you see the code straight away, right, you are starting a timer, correct? So every 20 milliseconds this timer is running, but you have not cleared the timer. You have not cleared the timer. So this every 20 milliseconds you are updating the state variable. So if you update the state variable, this component will re-render. Correct? That is how your progress bar is moving. Because every 20 milliseconds you are incrementing the state variable, and this component is again called, you are passing a new value, and based on the value your scale is changing there. That is why the component bar is keep on moving. Okay, so if I just put a log here, right, and display the value, this is app component, right? I will put app and then I will display the value. This is the set variable, right? So since you are not cleared, right, this should keep on coming. So if you see, right, the progress bar is going, right, the value is keep on incrementing, and even after progress bar completed, your component is getting called again and again. Okay, now how to fix this problem? Okay, so to fix this problem, we need to basically clear this interval. Okay, so in the use effect, you can have a function, you can return a function. Okay, that function will be called when the component is unmounted. So in that function, you can call clear interval. So I'm having a variable interval, and then the set interval returns the value, right? I'm asking the interval. I will use that variable to clear the interval. I'm clearing the interval here also when the component is unmounted, and in the onComplete function, right, when your progress bar reaches 100%, then the onComplete will be called by your progress bar component. That time also I'm clearing the interval. That time after that I need not, if I don't clear the interval, it will keep on setting the state variable, again my function will get called. Okay. But doing this, the problem I get is the complete, right, it is undefined. That variable is assigned here, but it is, when it comes here, it is undefined. So the interval is not cleared. The reason is, when a component gets re-rendered, right, this is a new variable. So first time it is getting rendered, right? First time it is getting rendered, you are setting the interval, the first render, and the set interval returns a value. So in your interval has some value. Okay, so some value is there. Next time render, what will happen? This is a new variable. The old variable value is lost. You need to have the old value. Now, how to get the old value? For that, you have to use one more hook called useRef, which will store the previous state. Okay, I will use useRef. The initial value will be null or something. Okay, so when you use useRef, right, the value will be stored in the current property. So use the interval that useRef variable dot current. So when you change this, right, when you change any useRef value, the component will not be rendered. So useRef hook is like that. Okay, but it is used to store the previous state. In the previous call, right, what was the call? What was the value? That value will be retained. So in the first call, the set interval, the value is stored. Okay, so I will use the same thing to clear. Okay, here also I will use interval dot current. Okay, I will use the current here. Here also while printing and use the current. Okay, so this is auto saved. Let us go and clear all these things. So after I refresh the page, it stopped. After 100, it stopped. Okay, so now I remove this print. Once I click refresh again. Okay, first time it is calling that unmount. So this is actually very easy, right? You just need to have a span for progress bar. This progress bar component is what you have to decide, right? If you pass a value, based on the value, it will your progress bar component will basically use the value, set a state variable based on the value, and then it has to display the percentage, and it has to display the progress bar. So this you have to know how to display the progress bar, right? If you just use scale and transform, it's going to display.